Pack Nation, welcome to another episode of Tuffy Talk here. We are excited here as we are rolling back to 2022 and highlighting our favorite moments from 2022. So basically how this is going to work. So Greg, Michael, Macon, and myself, we're going to be listing our favorite top 5 with an honorable mention moments from 2022. So it's completely, individual based. It's, it's really just kind of depends. And obviously there may be some personal, things to it as well. So, but again, we'll kind of get into that. But the only rule, what you'll see with this is that if one of us says a moment that is further down the list for any of the guys, we're going to wait. So that way we don't ruin any of the excitement here of, our list to come. So in our first part here, we'll cover our honorable mentions for all of us, as well as our 5th and 4th moments. And then for part 2, we'll do our 3rd, 2nd, and 1st favorite moments. But again, we're excited to roll back here to many exciting moments, because I know for me, I definitely have 2 that I hope I expect will come up, but if not, I'm definitely going to bring up at the end, be like, I'm surprised neither of these came up. So we're going to have some fun here. So with that being said, Michael, give us your first honorable mention, my man. Or your honorable mention, not your first honorable mention, your honorable mention.
The only one.
Go ahead. Yeah, the only one.
On my list, I had the men's basketball loss to Clemson in the ACC tournament last year.
Why?
I mean,
just put it out of the misery. Why? Is that why?
Putting it out of the misery? That season over with. That was tough.
Wow.
So many injuries.
Yeah.
But 3 ACC wins. It was just good to be over.
Wow. I mean, okay. Hey,
take the horse out back and shoot it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much, I think, what you can define that as. So, yeah. Macon, what you got, man?
My honorable mentions, mentions. I'm going to give 2 here because, I'll give 1 here. I'll give 1.
Yeah,
just one.
Somebody knows.
I'm going to give men's tennis finishing in the Sweet 16. I thought that was a big deal for NC State. More so, like, I enjoyed seeing. I was like, man, that's something that doesn't happen a lot for State, and it's a new sport that we don't really talk about a lot. I thought that was a really big deal for State. So that's an honorable mention for me.
Well, on top of it too, I mean, women's tennis going to the Final Four 2 years in a row. I mean, again, low key, our men's and women's tennis programs are becoming 2 of the elite programs in the country. And that's hard to argue that. So, so I completely agree with that. Greg, who you guys your honorable mention, man?
So, yeah, this one was hard for me. I wanted to do one on a personal note, having gone to all the football games, just doing that whole thing. That was kind of a bucket list. But I'm going to go with one that's really off the radar. Let's go with the lights that now shine bright at night at Carter Finley Stadium. The new lights that they put in there. I just think that's just a really cool touch. Just something that add to the game day. And then next year, if we do this again next year, I think my honorable mention will be the new video board. Let's keep it going.
I mean, mine might be the sound system.
I was going to say, or the sound system. Yeah. I mean, like,
so
now I can actually hear our intro music. Like, what? That's crazy.
You can already tell
the different
pixelated. Yeah, you can already tell between the 4 of us how we have different tastes in what we're saying our favorites are. So
exactly.
There you go.
But just having some fun here. But yeah, no, and also too, I mean, because we had so many moments, because we had so many night games, so we had so many opportunities to show off those beautiful red lights. So yeah, no, couldn't agree more. So mine is right in Macon's wheelhouse, but a little bit different. I actually did men's tennis beating UNC for the first time since 2013. So again, just a big moment for sure. I know one of our people that when we put out the tweet about, what were your favorite moments, somebody had mentioned this moment actually. And I was like, yeah, it actually was a pretty big moment just to kind of finally get that monkey off our back and not beating them for 9 seasons. Definitely a huge moment there for sure. So yeah, definitely all of us honorable mentions, very different, generally, except for me and Macon. That's almost same, but not quite. But
see.
So yeah, no, exactly. All right, Michael, what you got for number 5, man?
So number 5, I put any Tommy White home run, because it was just like
awesome.
Like from the first series against, I don't even remember who he played, but I think he had 3 home runs in that first series. And then like after that, it was every weekend. You're like, okay, how many is he going to hit this week? And yeah, no, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
So can you remind me who's Tommy White? I remember number 47. I remember Tommy White. I remember number 47, but I don't have any memories I've kept in my head of a guy named Tommy White. I don't have any moments like that in my head. So anyway, yeah, no, it was God, like that guy, he number 47, he could have been one of the all-time names in NC State history, man, if he would have stayed.
One of the all-time names, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the record book.
Well, but I mean,
I think he is. I think he is, guys. I mean, I get it, but like, history's history. Like, he's already made history.
Can't erase it.
Yeah, so
but
I get it. Sour taste in your mouth, but
you're not going to put him in the same breath as guys like Trey Turner or Carlos Rodon, though. I mean,
no, it's a totally different lens.
I mean, they went to a College World Series, and
but that's what I'm saying is that, like, I mean, if we had number 47, especially like with this roster this year, man, dude, Sam Highfield
I just think
back,
it's the greatest individual. Is it maybe one of the, if arguably the greatest individual season State player has had?
That's definitely arguable.
Okay. Let's say in the last 20 years, right? Let's say that's still 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know about 40, 50 years ago.
I mean, that's a good question for Justin Cook. I know that. So
obviously, Carlos Ryder had a nice year. And he kind of had a rough college time, I thought. But I thought Trey Turner had a nice, college career. But I mean, none of them set that kind of records like that. I mean,
NCAA records,
right. No one did. They didn't do that. So
yeah, I'd agree. It's definitely up there for sure.
But I get it. Number 47. I get it.
So. Darn him. All right, Greg. What? I'm sorry. No. Macon's up next. Yeah, Macon's up next. Sorry, Macon, number 5, man. Go ahead.
My number 5 was again, these are being favorites. One I enjoyed seeing the most is, and I say this with you kind of laugh, chuckle a little bit, but like women's cross country or track and field winning, Caitlin Tuohy winning a national title, like she's just awesome, and it's not surprising, but it's like it's still awesome. It deserves being at least top 5. So I have to put that. So Caitlin Tuohy winning the 5,000 meter national title, and then in the ACC she's winning the 1,500 and 5,000 meters. So she is just awesome at that. And you think you could argue, kind of like I made there with number 47, Tommy White, when he was here. But is Caitlin Tuohy one of the greatest athletes in in-state history, period?
That's definitely.
Is she the greatest, regardless of gender, is she the greatest single athlete?
Well, I think we came to the conclusion she might be the only NCAA champion winner.
I think she is.
Yeah, I think she. So. I mean, unless we're going way back.
She's the only player in NCAA and NC State history to have won multiple national championships.
Then
I think that's something pretty
awesome. Greatest of all time.
Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. Now, I mean, of course, everybody's going to say, David Thompson is obviously the one that comes to mind for me immediately, but and because especially too, if he would. Well, but if they would have played in 73,
they would have won had they not been on probation.
Exactly.
Yeah, they may have done it twice.
I hear you.
But still, she is 100% in that conversation, no doubt about it. So, and she's not even done yet. That's the crazy part. So, go ahead, Greg. What you got for number 5?
Yeah, man? I had number 47 as well for my number 5. It's hard to argue the season that he had. Like we just talked about it. Arguably the greatest true freshman season in the history of NCAA baseball. If he had a glove to go with his bat, it would be arguably the best college baseball player last year.
That was a good little point there you made, Greg. If he had a glove to go with his bat,
that's true.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
Great call out. That's a great call out.
It's facts.
So, but look, the dude could knock the leather off of baseball. I mean, so there's no arguing that. But it is what it is, and you know what? Good luck down in the South. Enjoy the mosquitoes.
Yeah. We're glad that you're going closer to family at that school down south. Thank goodness for that. So anyway, yep. And then believe it or not, for me, 5 is actually baseball beating Miami in the ACC tournament, kind of coinciding with the number 47, 3 home runs. I mean, like for some reason they kept on pitching to him, and I don't know why. And but I mean, just like that was a big win. I mean, because honestly, for me, that was the moment where I'm like, okay, we're in the tournament. Like, honestly, for me, that was the moment where I thought, okay, we made the tournament. And then we went on to make it to the championships over big schools like Louisville, Duke, and all these, and Wake Forest, and yet we didn't make the tournament. But anyway, again, so that would be my least favorite. Would be one of my least favorite moments. Was not making
that'll be a whole nother
sure.
video.
Yeah, that'd be a whole nother video. So yeah, no, for sure. So it's interesting how three of us, or did all four of us? No, because Megan had cross country. No. So three of us had baseball / Tommy White. Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, number 47. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time wearing and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. Anyway, all right, Michael, wrap us up, man. Who you got for number 4, man?
4, I have Terquavion Smith announcing he was coming back.
Wow!
Because at that point, we had gotten all 4 transfers. All three new assistant coaches hired. Mm-hmm. And yeah, him coming back kind of solidified it for me that I think this team could be really good this season, which they have been so far. So yeah, I think that was, I was really excited when he announced he was returning.
That's definitely an under the radar one.
Yeah. I want to add this too. Like, it is, to me, it's really refreshing as a fan to have a player who loves NC State like he does. Like,
that too.
When was the last time we had a player who just, there's not the last time, but you could tell, like, wasn't as verbal and had, TJ Warren's from here. He talks about love, but he's not as, like, verbal talking about how much he loves State. But he does. A lot of players do. It's just this guy. He talks about he committed. Yeah, I think Keats had a press conference recently. He committed to State when he was like 15, and he stayed committed through like his sophomore, junior, senior year of high school, and blew up. He could have gone pro, maybe been a first round pick, and he decided to come back to bet on himself and play for a school because his reasoning was because I love State.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Now, obviously, where there are probably other things too, like, NIL money and, trying to get higher into lottery picks. Sure. But again, I completely agree with you. And because I got to say this as well. Again, I think that you see that with a lot of sports right now. Football, we've talked about in live stream, talking about Peyton Wilson coming back. Trent Penix coming back. Like it's obvious right now that, hey, for us State fans that, we have a lot of loyal athletes right now that love NC State, which is a beautiful thing. So, gotta love that. Continue with that. Yeah. So yeah, we completely agree with that, Michael. Macon, what you got for number 4, man?
For me, number 4 was women's tennis winning a national title. That's the first time that's happened for our program in doubles. Jada Daniel and Nell Miller. Doing that's huge for State. And again, I get excited about not just the title, but just the success that sport is having at State because nobody cares or talks about tennis at State. Not saying it shouldn't. I think they should. I think State fans should be starting to go to some of these matchups because I think tennis is relatively pretty fun to watch. And it's having this kind of success we've never had. It's like, guys, maybe we need to start supporting them. So, and winning a national title at it too, without hardly any fan support, that's a really big deal to me.
Yeah. Well, and again, I keep bringing this up when we did our, when we did the, the dollar trivia giveaway thing, I went into that with all these questions about can you name me one wrestling national champion ever? Can you name me the star, athlete for our cross country team? Can you name me any head coach besides, men's basketball, besides either basketball, football, or baseball? And a lot of people really had struggled with that. And I'm like, y'all, I'm telling you, you got to get involved. It doesn't cost much. There's a lot of opportunities to support them, and it's completely worth your while. Because again, men's and women's tennis are, preseason. I think men's tennis is preseason number 19. Women's tennis is, I think, top 5 or 6.
Yeah,
they're up there.
Yeah.
So
I thought they were 3, to be honest with you, but I definitely top 5.
I really think I'm going to start going. I'm going to go to some of these women's matchups or men's matchups.
Got to.
That's. I think it'd be fun to go to. I think it'd be good to support them.
And again, it's
totally
probably
different sport to go watch for state. I don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
you don't ever hear about tennis, and it's just like boom, they're good now. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably like what, probably $5-7 a ticket, to walk in the
might not
door.
even
I
be
mean,
that.
if that,
Probably
if
free.
that, I mean, it's probably free.
I'm trying to think.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of another sport
Yeah.
that would be similar, like volleyball, just exploding.
Yeah,
like we don't really
volleyball.
talk about volleyball, but it'd be like, like they
Well,
could just blow up.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like volleyball, you have a coach that literally was an assistant coach for the USA team that won, gold at the Olympics. Like, so, it's just a matter of time until he gets his girls in and he starts to kick that up. And then softball, again, they brought in the number 4 recruiting class in the country last year. And so, that you're going to start to see the fruit of that labor this year. So again, there's so many sports, got to get out there and support them. Like, simple as that. It's too easy. So, and it doesn't cost much. So, yeah, no, definitely got to get that. Got to bring up that rant every single time we can, because it is so factually true. So anyway, Greg, who you got for number 4, man?
Yeah, Macon stole mine. I had the women's tennis team there. Just anytime that you can get a national championship, you have to honor them and show them some love. And getting that first one was pretty special. The other thing I'll mention about Jada Daniel is she was honored, I think it was last night or a couple nights ago, as a top 10 athlete for the whole NCAA, which is a big deal. So just to get that recognition, not only to win a title, but then to be recognized by your peers and big college as a supreme athlete, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. No, again, I mean, think about it. I mean, within the last couple of years, I mean, you had 2 cross-country national champions. You had, Caitlin Tuohy win an individual national championship. And then you had, women's tennis winning their first dual, national championship. Again, it's in-state athletics is a great place to be a fan. I'm telling you that. Like, no matter what little struggles. I mean, I know we're talking about, women's basketball right now, which is struggling, but hey, we've been spoiled. It's like, this ain't going to last under Westmore. He's going to figure it out. Just give it time. So, just continue to support them for sure. So, for me, I'm actually going a little different. I'm surprised a wrestling moment hasn't come up yet. But for me, I'm going to go Hayden Hidlay beating Mekhi Lewis in Reynolds Coliseum. Yeah. And for me, like, a lot of people, because I mean, there are other moments I could bring up for wrestling. But like for this one, just to kind of remind those, who listened in, and for those that don't know, basically the week before, State went against UNC, and Hayden went against Clay Lout, who's top 10, top 15 in the country wrestler. But Hayden was like 2 or 3. So, I mean, Hayden, should have won that match, no doubt about it. And he actually was controlling that match. I think he was up fairly big in terms of points, but then Hayden just made one wrong move, and Clay, took advantage and pinned Hayden, and it really shook me and pretty much all reals like Coliseum. Like, it was oh my God, like, because this guy's a 5th year, like, he was, going to go, more likely undefeated and go compete for a national title. And that was like a huge setback. But then the next week to go against Mekhi Lewis, who was, I think a top 5 or 6 wrestler in the country in the weight class.
Just as good.
Yeah, just as good. He was a junior world champion, actually, before he came to Virginia Tech. And then Hayden beat Mekhi in overtime. And I still remember to this day, it was probably a 10-minute standing ovation that was loud. And just watching Hayden just standing there and do the slow raise the roof and like, it was insane. It was unbelievable moment that I'll never forget that. It was unbelievable. So so that'd be number 4 for me for sure. So so I think we'll take a pause right there, and again part 2 we will do our 3, 2, 1 moments, and then we'll also kind of mention a couple other moments that if they're not mentioned that that I have here, for example, that we'll see if they come up or not. So we'll have some fun with that. So, but with that being said, make sure, again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, as first of all, it's free to do, and also to really help support us. And third of all, you're actually notified on all your devices when we go live with any episodes, with any live streams, any watch parties, you name it. So again, it's a great benefit, and it takes 2 seconds, and it costs you nothing to do it. If you enjoyed this video as well, hit that like button. And also too, as well, if you have any thoughts, as well. Let us know in the comments of any moments that we haven't mentioned yet, or like thoughts on our moments, whatever it may be. Put those in the comments and follow us Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you all so much. We'll see you for part 2 as always. Go Pack, baby.